Welcome back to Zcoins. Today we're diving deep into the top 5 most valuable Washington quarters that could be worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars in today's market. We're diving deep into one of the most talked about coins in American coinage history, the 1974 Washington quarter dollar. This coin might look like just another quarter in your pocket change, but what if I told you that certain 1974 quarters have sold for thousands of dollars? That's right, some rare varieties and errors of this coin are worth big money and could be hiding right under your nose. So sit back, grab your favorite drink, and let's uncover the true value and fascinating history of the 1974 Washington quarter. Let's get into it. First, let's start with a little background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. Its design, by John Flanagan, features a left-facing bust of Washington on the obverse along with the word liberty, the phrase "In God We Trust," and the date. The reverse until 1998 displayed an eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, symbolizing peace through strength. By 1974, the quarter had already gone through one major change. In 1965, the U.S. Mint removed silver from circulating quarters due to rising silver prices and switched to a clad composition, a copper core sandwiched between layers of nickel. So the 1974 quarter is made of this copper-nickel clad composition, not silver. But don't let that fool you, there are still very valuable and rare versions of this coin. Let's talk mintage numbers. In 1974, the U.S. Mint produced Washington quarters at 3 different locations. Philadelphia struck over 801 million, Denver struck over 353 million, and the San Francisco Mint produced over 2.6 million proof coins for collectors. That's more than 1.1 billion coins in total, which means most 1974 quarters are very common and only worth face value. However, the real value lies in rare varieties, high-grade examples, and some incredible mint errors. So what should you be looking for? Let's begin with condition. Most circulated 1974 quarters are worth 25 cents, but if you find one in uncirculated condition, or what collectors call mint state, it can be worth much more. An MS-65 example from Philadelphia might be worth around $10, while an MS-67 can go for over $100. For Denver minted quarters, a high-grade MS-67 or MS-68 can bring in hundreds, even over $1,000, depending on market demand. San Francisco proof coins are worth between $3 and $15 for standard proof strikes, but deep cameo examples in PR69 or PR70 can fetch $50 to $100 or more. But that's just the beginning. Let's talk about errors and varieties. The real treasure, the most famous and valuable error for the 1974 Washington quarter is the 1974 D double die obverse. This error occurs when the die used to strike the coin was engraved with a slight duplication, resulting in a noticeable doubling of the design, especially in the inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust. These coins are very rare and can sell for hundreds, even thousands, depending on condition. Another type to watch for is an off-center strike, which occurs when the coin isn't properly aligned during minting. A dramatic off-center 1974 quarter, especially one showing about 50% off with a full date, can be worth several $100s. Next is the clipped planchet error. This happens when a blank is improperly punched out of the metal strip, resulting in a crescent-shaped missing section. These are also collectible and can range from $20 to $200 based on size and condition. Then there's the struck on the wrong planchet error. There are known examples of 1974 quarters struck on 1 cent or foreign coin planchets. These are extremely rare and can bring in thousands at auction. So how can you tell if your 1974 quarter is valuable? Step 1 is check the mint mark. If your coin has a D for Denver or S for San Francisco, it narrows down where it was made. If it has no mint mark, it came from Philadelphia. Step 2 is examine the condition. If it looks new, shiny, and crisp, it might be mint state. Step 3 is look for doubling, especially in the lettering. And step 4 is weigh the coin. A normal clad quarter should weigh around 5.67 grams. If it's significantly lighter or heavier, you may have a wrong planchet error. Now let's talk market value. As of today, the highest auction record for a 1974 quarter is over $2,500 for an MS-68 Denver example certified by PCGS. Some error coins have sold for more than $3,000 depending on rarity and condition. Even some proof coins with deep cameo finishes have sold for over $150. That's not bad for a coin you might find in pocket change. So next time you get a quarter in your change, don't just toss it in a jar. Take a close look, check the date, check the mint mark, and see if there's anything unusual, because the 1974 Washington quarter could be worth a whole lot more than 25 cents. Before we wrap up, here are a few quick tips for collectors. Store your coins in proper holders or flips to avoid damage. Never clean your coins, as this destroys value. Use a good magnifying glass or microscope to spot errors in doubling, and consider getting rare finds graded by a trusted service like PCGS or Rank. That's it for today's video on the 1974 Washington quarter. From its humble design to its hidden treasures, this coin proves that even modern era coins can be worth big money. Where we talk about valuable coins, rare currency, and everything related to numismatics. In today's video, we are diving deep into one of the most talked about modern quarters in US coin history, the 1982 D Washington quarter. Stay tuned because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, what makes it valuable, and how much it could be worth in today's market. Let's start with the background. In 1982, the United States Mint faced a major financial decision. Due to economic pressures and budget constraints, the Mint decided to stop producing uncirculated mint sets. This meant that collectors could no longer purchase flawless uncirculated coins directly from the mint as they had in previous years. As a result, the 1982 coins, especially those struck for circulation, were often poorly preserved and rarely found in pristine condition. The Washington quarter, struck at the Denver Mint in 1982, that's the one with the small letter D on the obverse, became a key coin of interest for collectors because high-quality examples were so hard to find. Millions were produced, yes, but finding one in mint state is another story. Now let's talk specifics. The 1982 D Washington quarter is made from a copper-nickel clad composition with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters and weighs 5.67 grams. It features the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse and the iconic American eagle with outstretched wings on the reverse. But here's the catch: during the production of the 1982 quarters, many coins suffered from weak strikes, inconsistent rims, and rapid wear, all due to overused dies and lower production standards that year. So what does that mean for you? If you have a 1982 D quarter in extremely fine condition or better, you might be sitting on a valuable coin. Coins in lower grades are still quite common and are typically only worth face value, 25 cents. But coins in higher grades, especially mint state, can command significantly higher prices. Let's talk numbers. A standard circulated 1982 D quarter is generally worth its face value, but once you hit grades like MS 63, 65, or higher, values start to rise. As of now, an MS 65 example of the 1982 D quarter can sell for between $30 and $75. But the real money comes with the top-graded coins. If you find one graded MS67 or higher by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC, you could be looking at values north of $300 and even up to $1,000 in some cases. Now here's where it gets even more exciting. There are known errors and varieties that make some 1982 D quarters extremely valuable. One of the most famous is the no mint mark error, though that is more common on Philadelphia quarters. However, some D mint coins were struck on improperly prepared planchets or have strong die breaks, clipped planchets, or even off-center strikes. These rare mint errors can be worth hundreds and sometimes thousands depending on rarity and condition. For example, a double die reverse error where the eagle on the reverse appears to be slightly doubled can fetch several $100s depending on eye appeal and sharpness of the doubling. Off-center strikes that are still mostly readable and show the date and mint mark can easily sell for $100 to $400 or more. And next up, the market trends. Because of the coin's unique place in numismatic history and the limited supply of well-preserved examples, collector demand remains high. Auction records show that MS67 examples have sold for over $1,000. Coins with strong eye appeal, sharp details, and flawless surfaces are highly sought after. The market for the 1982 D Washington quarter has been consistently strong, and prices are expected to hold or rise as more collectors search for high-grade coins from this challenging year. Let's recap. The 1982 D Washington quarter may look ordinary, but it holds a special place in U.S. coin collecting. Its value hinges on condition, rarity, and the presence of mint errors or varieties. If you find a well-preserved example or one with a rare error, you could be looking at big money. Always check your loose change, rolls of quarters, or inherited coin collections. You never know what you might find. Before we go, if you think you have a valuable 1982 D quarter, consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. The certification process not only confirms the authenticity and grade of your coin but also increases its market value and buyer confidence. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of one very specific and very intriguing coin, the 2013 P Washington quarter, more specifically, the Perry's Victory and International Peace Memorial design. If you think quarters are just spare change, then think again. Some of these coins could be worth a lot more than 25 cents, in fact, some are fetching hundreds and even thousands of dollars in the right conditions. So grab your coin jars and get comfortable. You might just have a valuable piece of American history hiding in plain sight. Let's start with a bit of background. In 2010, the United States Mint launched the America the Beautiful Quarters program. This series honored national parks and historic sites in each state, territory, and the District of Columbia. In 2013, one of the featured designs was Perry's Victory and International Peace Memorial, located in Ohio. The design commemorates the Battle of Lake Erie during the War of 1812 and honors the lasting peace between the United States, Canada, and Great Britain. Now, the 2013 P quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Over 131 million of these quarters were produced. That sounds like a huge number, right? But here's the twist: not all of these coins are created equal. And this is where it gets interesting for collectors. Most of these quarters went into circulation and picked up scratches, dings, and wear and tear. But some, just a small percentage, remained in pristine condition. These are the coins that collectors prize. We're talking about uncirculated examples, proof versions, and especially those with mint errors. Let's break it down. If you have a regular 2013 P. Perry's Victory quarter that has been in circulation, it's likely worth face value 25 cents. However, if your coin is in uncirculated condition, that means it looks brand new, no scratches, no signs of wear. It could be worth around $1 to $3, depending on the quality. Now, if your coin is graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC and earns a high mint state grade, say MS66 or higher, you're looking at more significant value. For example, a 2013 P quarter graded MS67 has sold for as much as $100. That's right, $100 for a quarter minted just over a decade ago, and that's just the start. Mint errors can send the value skyrocketing. Some of the most valuable 2013 P. Perry's Victory quarters are those with striking errors. These include double dies, off-center strikes, and die cracks. There are reports of quarters from this year with dramatic doubling on the reverse, especially in the lettering or the statue's details. Coins with these errors can sell for anywhere between $50 and several $100 depending on how dramatic and rare the error is, but the crown jewel of this issue is the rare combination of a high-grade coin with a visible mint error. One such coin, an MS67 with a double die reverse, reportedly sold for over $400. Think about it, a modern coin, only worth 25 cents on paper, turning into a few $100 just because of condition and a mistake at the mint. Now, let's talk about the market as of today. In 2025, the demand for America the Beautiful quarters has remained strong. More collectors are trying to complete the full series, and they're paying premiums for the best examples. Coins from the early 2010s, especially in top condition, are increasing in value. The 2013 P. Perry's Victory quarter is no exception. Even circulated examples with clear die errors or unusual features are being listed on online marketplaces like eBay and Etsy for $10, $20, even $50. If you're holding onto rolls of 2013 quarters or if you have a change jar you haven't sorted through in years, now is the time to look. You could be sitting on hidden treasure. Here's a quick tip for you collectors out there. If you think you've found a potentially valuable quarter, maybe it looks strange, maybe it's super shiny, maybe you see doubling in the letters, don't clean it. Cleaning can destroy the value of a coin. Instead, consider sending it to a reputable grading service. Yes, it costs a bit of money up front, but if your coin is the real deal, it could be worth far more than the grading FEE.in summary. While the 2013 P. Perry's Victory quarter may not be the rarest coin in American history, it has plenty of potential. With high mint state grades, eye-catching errors, and a growing collector base, these coins are absolutely worth keeping an eye on. So check your change, inspect your rolls, and pay attention to those coin shows and auctions. You never know when a simple quarter could turn into a payday. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 2015 P. Washington $quarter coins. These are part of the America the Beautiful series and might just be hiding a small fortune in your pocket change. So grab your magnifying glass and let's explore why this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth serious money. The 2015 P. Washington quarters were minted in Philadelphia and are part of a larger commemorative program that ran from 2010 through 2021. Each year during that time, 5 new quarter designs were released, each celebrating a national park or historic site across the United States. The year 2015 gave us 5 incredible designs representing Nebraska, Louisiana, North Carolina, Delaware, and New York. Now let's focus specifically on the quarters minted in Philadelphia, which bear the P Mint mark. Over 809 million quarters were produced at the Philadelphia Mint in 2015, so at first glance you might think they're common and not worth much. But that's not the whole story. What makes certain 2015 P. Washington quarters valuable comes down to errors, condition, and demand. First, let's talk about error coins. Some 2015 P quarters have been found with dramatic doubling, off-center strikes, die cracks, and even missing clad layers. These errors can be worth anywhere from $50 to several $100 depending on how rare and dramatic the flaw is. For example, a 2015 P Homestead quarter from Nebraska with a double die reverse where the water pump and windows appear doubled can sell for up to $200 or more in mint state. Then we have the condition of the coin. A 2015 P quarter graded MS67 or higher by a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC can be quite valuable. While circulated coins may only be worth face value, those in pristine, uncirculated condition can fetch $50 to $100 or more, especially if they are from lower population categories and high grades. But here's the exciting part. Some collectors are willing to pay big premiums for complete sets of high-grade quarters from every state and year in the America the Beautiful series. So if you happen to have a flawless 2015 P quarter, it could be the missing piece in someone's collection, driving up its value even more. Let's take a quick look at each 2015 design. At first is the Homestead National Monument of America quarter from Nebraska. This one is especially popular among error collectors. The P-Mint version is known to have several die varieties including doubling and extra water pumps, so keep an eye out. Next is the Kisatchie National Forest quarter from Louisiana. This one features a wild turkey in flight. Though less common for major errors, high-grade examples can still sell for a premium. Then there's the Blue Ridge Parkway quarter from North Carolina, which shows a scenic curved road and stone tunnel. Look for clean strike lines and no contact marks, those are signs of high quality and could increase value significantly. The Bombay Hook quarter from Delaware is one of the most visually striking, with two birds wading through the wetlands. Some minor die chips have been reported on the bird's beaks and wings, and those can increase value slightly. Finally, the Saratoga National Historical Park quarter from New York. It depicts the moment of British surrender at the Battle of Saratoga. Collectors love this design, and high-grade coins with no spots or blemishes are always in demand. Now let's talk market trends. As of 2025, collectors on sites like eBay and heritage auctions are still paying strong money for the best 2015 P quarters. A top-grade MS68 Homestead quarter sold for over $700. Meanwhile, mint error coins in high demand continue to rise in price. Coins with dramatic off-center strikes or double dies are fetching between $100 to $500 depending on severity, and I appeal that if you think you might have a valuable 2015 P quarter, the best thing to do is get it graded. You can send it to a third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC, which will verify its authenticity and condition. A professionally graded coin not only increases its value, it also makes it easier to sell to serious collectors. So before you spend that quarter in your change jar, take a closer look. You might be sitting on a rare error coin or a mint state gem worth far more than 25 cents. And if you're lucky enough to own a full set of America the Beautiful quarters in high grades, you could be looking at a collection worth thousands. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most talked about modern coins that's turning heads and making waves in the numismatic world, the 2020 P Washington quarter dollar. These aren't just everyday pocket change. Some of these coins are worth serious money. You might just have one sitting in your change jar right now. Let's go back to the basics. The 2020 Washington quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series. This was a program launched in 2010 by the United States Mint, and it ran all the way through 2021. The series features national parks and other national sites, one from each state and territory. The 2020 quarters were the final regular issues before the end of the program. Now when we talk about the 2020 P Washington quarters, we're referring to the coins minted in Philadelphia. These coins carry the P Mint mark. There were 5 different reverse designs released in 2020, each representing a unique location. Those include the National Park of American Samoa, the Ware Farm National Historic Site in Connecticut, Salt River Bay in the Virgin Islands, the Marsh-Billings-Rockefeller National Historical Park in Vermont, and finally, the Tallgrass Prairie National Preserve in Kansas. Let's take a closer look at why these quarters matter. First, we have to talk about the design of the National Park of American Samoa quarter, also known as the Bat quarter. It features a Samoan fruit bat mother hanging upside down with her pup. This coin went viral when it was released. People loved the unique and almost haunting design. Because of the popularity, people began hoarding this specific quarter, and it created demand almost instantly. But when it comes to value, not all quarters are created equal. It's the rare varieties and mint errors that really drive up prices. Some of the 2020p Washington quarters have been discovered with striking errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, die chips, and more. These can range in value from a few bucks to hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the severity and rarity of the error. For example, a 2020p Salt River Bay quarter with a dramatic die break near the plant has been known to sell for over $100 raw. That means not graded by a professional service. Some with even more dramatic errors have sold for over $500, especially if they are in uncirculated condition or part of a mint-sealed roll. And then there's the holy grail of modern quarters, the W mint mark. While this isn't the P version, I have to mention it. In 2020, the Mint released a limited number of quarters from the West Point Mint. These coins bear a W mint mark and were not sold directly. They were released into circulation randomly. That made them extremely collectible. If you have a 2020 quarter with a W mint mark, it can easily be worth between $20 and $70 depending on condition and demand. But back to the P versions, the key to value in the 2020 P quarters lies in condition and error types. Coins that are certified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC and receive high grades, especially MS67 or MS68, can bring in hundreds of dollars or more at auction. There have even been some examples of MS69 coins, which is almost a perfect coin. These are extremely rare for a business strike quarter and command premium prices. In fact, a 2020p Tallgrass Prairie quarter graded MS69 sold for over $800 at auction. Another thing to look out for are die chips and cuds, particularly on the American Samoa bat quarter. These die breaks can look like extra metal on the bat's mouth or wings, and collectors love these kinds of anomalies. Some have sold for $20 to $50 even in circulated condition. Now let's talk about current market value. As of mid-2025, most circulated 2020p quarters are still worth face value. But uncirculated examples, especially in mint state condition, can sell for $1 to $5 each on platforms like eBay and Etsy. If you find a high-grade version or one with an error, then you're looking at potential values of $20, $50, or even hundreds of dollars. Error coins continue to rise in popularity, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for unique pieces. So how do you know if your coin is valuable? First, examine it under good lighting. Use a jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass. Look for doubling in the letters or numbers. Check for extra metal on the devices. Look closely at Washington's eye or hair for signs of doubling or striking anomalies. And check the reverse, especially on the bat coin and Salt River Bay, for die chips or breaks. If you find something that looks unusual, you might want to send it to a professional grading service. That way, you'll get an official grade and variety designation, which can help you sell the coin at the highest possible price. Before we wrap up, let me give you some final tips. Always keep your eyes on your change. Check every 2020 quarter you come across. Store any promising ones in coin flips or holders to protect their condition. And keep learning about errors and varieties. The more you know, the more valuable your finds will be. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss future videos about coins that could be worth a fortune. Until next time, happy collecting and good luck hunting for those hidden treasures in your pocket change.